So hi, welcome FLL coaches. My name is Vicki Cody, and this is the Minnesota FLL State Championship Coaches Meeting. Tonight on the line here, we have Jeannie Badger as well. And if you have questions, if you put them in the chat, Jeannie will answer them as fast as she can. At the end, we will have time for a little bit of Q&A. I don't want to keep you guys late. I just want to keep this as short and sweet as possible. This does replace the historic coaches meeting in the morning that we used to have. And then the other thing really quick for a little housekeeping, if everyone could just mute themselves so that we don't get that feedback, that would be great. Thank you. All right. So like I said, this is the benefit to an online coaches meeting is everyone has a front row seat and you can hear us. So tonight we're going to cover the venues, spectators, schedule events, judging, everything that you're going to need to know. We're going to talk about the waves and everything about the state championship a week from Saturday. I wanted to start out with a really quick thank you to all you coaches. Last year was difficult to say the least. We understood that a lot of people couldn't participate. This year, a lot of our teams came back. We had 417 teams. 2 years ago, pre-COVID, we had close to 650, but last year, I'm looking, we only had 178. So we are so thankful that everyone came back. We held 11 regional events, 2 of which were remote. We did 29 judging groups, and in a typical year pre-COVID, we would do around 50. We're still advancing 66 teams to state. So we're so excited that last year, see, look, we were virtual on the computer. This year, we're going to be in person, and we're just super excited about that. So if any of you know, we also organized First Tech Challenge, and last Saturday, we had our First Tech Challenge State Championship, which was a great success at the same venue. So we're super excited to keep it up with FLL. So just so you know, I'm sure you all realize this, we're still going to have our mask mandate. St. Paul Public Schools right now still requires the mask mandate, and so do we. It's going to be the same as it has been in regionals, wear masks. Everybody, whether you're a team member or a spectator, a High Tech Kids employee, or a custodian or a volunteer of ours, a judge or a referee, we're all going to be wearing masks. The pits are going to be limited to the volunteers, the teams, and the coaches.
James, come on. No, it's okay. Get your sweater and come.
Sorry about that. So they're going to be limited, just like they were in regionals. To the parents can be in the bleachers to watch the game. So the venue, Washington Technology Magnet School, it is a school in St. Paul. It's on Rice Street, but it is to get to the school, you have to turn on to Nebraska. So depending on which way you're coming on Rice, I believe it's west of Rice. They have done some major renovation to the school and gotten rid of a lot of parking. So if anybody has ever been to this school before, they know parking is at a premium anyway. I guess the good part is we're doing waves, so not all 66 teams will be there at the same time. So we're hoping it'll be fine. It was tight last weekend with FTC, so we expect that it'll be tight again. They will be, even though you guys won't be there all day, there will be concessions sold on the second floor, and that is a fundraiser for the Washington Tech, for some student groups there in Washington Tech. So we encourage you, if you get hungry or thirsty or need a cup of coffee or a donut, to go up there and patronize them. Like I said, spectators are welcome. At Washington Tech, the large gym, we're going to ask the spectators to enter from upstairs on the second floor. There is an elevator for anyone who can't, manage the stairs. And if neither of those things work, we will definitely let you in on the ground floor. But we'd like everybody to come in from upstairs and then enter the bleachers coming down. Depending on where your kids, what judging group they're in, Lakes Woods Prairie will be on one side, River Marsh Snow will be on the other side, and you'll see the tables. One side it'll be blue, red, yellow, which will be Lakes Woods Prairie. The other tables will be purple, green, and orange, and those will be Marsh River snow. And the kids will run their robots always on those sides of the gym. So if a parent comes in, they can park themselves on one side of the gym and they should be able to always see their kids. All right. So the event schedule. So depending on which wave you're in, if you're in the morning wave or the afternoon wave. So wave 1, doors will open at 8 a.m. All of your judging and robot rounds will be 8:30 to 11:40. We're asking you to move out of the pits as close to 11:50 as possible because we do have to get in, flip the pits, wipe them down, put new pit signs up, and then Jeannie and I would really love the opportunity to eat lunch at that time before wave 2 comes in. And same thing with wave 2, you're going to come in at about 12:30. All your robot rounds and everything go from 1 to about 4:05, and then by 4:15, it would be great if you guys could move out, because then we are working with the judges. We get to tear down and everything else. So the awards ceremony, just like it has been all season, will be on Twitch. This time it'll be at 7 o'clock. The new fun thing that we're doing this year is we are live streaming everything that happens in the gym. So we're going to live stream the robot matches. And then we're going to have some content that runs. You know, we asked you guys for some videos and pictures, and we're putting together some compilations. So anyone that can't make it, or if you're in the morning and you want to watch the robot rounds in the afternoon, you can like pull them up on your computer and watch them, or vice versa. You know, if you're in the afternoon and you want to watch some morning stuff. So we will be running that live stream. We did this last weekend with FTC, and it was a lot of fun, and we got a really good response. So we're pretty excited about that. So Jeannie, are there any questions so far that need addressing? No? Jeannie, if you're talking, you're muted.
I wasn't talking. I'm answering questions as we go. We're fine.
Okay, all right. So keep putting your questions in there. All right, so what to bring? As with regionals, you know, your robot, attachments, computer, children, don't forget the children, judging presentation stuff. For practice tables, new this year, because you guys are only going to be there half day, we are going to supply the mats and the field pieces, the ones that are dual lockdown. All the loose pieces, which is more than what I have pictures of here, but the loose pieces the team should bring. Anything that's not stuck down. It includes the package that goes on, you know, the front door, that little package that comes off of the shared helicopter, all of your cargo pieces, the wind turbine blade, if you use that, the little blue cargo that gets filled, that one, that is also anything loose. We are not going to bring, only the stuff that's stuck down. So bring those. Make sure you put your team number on them, label them somehow. You know what my team used to do? We'd put them in a Ziploc bag, and we'd take that Ziploc bag to the practice table, practice, put everything back in the Ziploc bag, and go back to our pit table. So just so you're making sure that you're not losing your pieces. But if you do, and there's your team number on it, then Jeannie and I know who to contact to get your Legos back to you. All right, so when you check in for your wave, it's only the coaches that need to check in. I don't need any paperwork from you, but I will be giving you your medals. We will be giving you wristbands. And new, you'll be getting this sorting center setup sheet. You can see it better probably on the PowerPoint. So for the sorting center, I think if you do the sorting center, you've probably kept up with the rules that say you can't do the same configuration twice. And so you're going to bring this little sheet of paper. It's not very big. This little sheet of paper with you when you go to your robot rounds, and the referees are just going to mark off, okay, you did this configuration where, you know, blue, orange, green on the top, you did that one. So you have to have a different configuration. So that's how we're going to keep track of your configurations. So just so you know, no one's going to be allowed in the pits without a wristband. So what we'd like you guys to do is either arrive as a team, and I know that's hard if you have other parents, but if you can make sure that as a coach, you're there, meet your team in the foyer. So you can check in, I can give you your stuff, then you can put your wristband on, go put your stuff down in the pit table, but then meet your kids at either in the foyer or the pit door, because we're really trying to keep enough space between everyone, and make sure that we have only people with wristbands in the pit. And I just want to also say, please don't arrive early and expect access to the pits. It's fine to arrive early or stay late to watch other teams. So if you're an afternoon team and you want to come in and watch teams, you can be a spectator and sit in the stands and watch the teams, and that's perfectly fine. But you can't move your stuff into the pits because we're only setting up, tables. We're reusing the tables. So someone's going to be sitting at a table that you're going to be at. And it's fine too to stay late after, if you're in wave one and you want to stay in the afternoon, that's perfectly fine, but you need to move your stuff out of the pit before you park yourself in the stand. I just wanted to be kind of clear with that because we are reusing those pit tables. Right. All right, so here are the requirements for the pits and the performance areas. So the school just redid their gym floors. So when we were there FTC last week, we had to cover a whole bunch because all those FTC teams have carts and their robots are heavier. So we're also going to have paper on the floor. We're going to try to make sure those kids keep those carts on this very expensive paper I bought to cover the gym floor. As much as possible. Also new for anyone who's been to state before, all of the pits will be in that little auxiliary gym right next to the large gym. There won't be any pits on the second floor. So we're pretty actually excited about that. So you guys are going to have really easy access in and out of that and in and out of that gym. Just like other events, we're going to have a sign. You guys are going to be everybody's going to have a signed table, same thing, a table, 2 chairs, access to power. And we're going to have 3 or 4 practice tables in there. I mean, I'll be honest, we're not sure how many because we have to build some more kits here. Depends on how fast we can build kits between now and next week. Mats on the floor, we're not going to, we really would rather you not have the mats on the floor. They're a tripping hazard. They just take up a lot of space. So we really would like you to use the practice tables that we're going to be providing. All right, so judging. So also, if you've ever been to state before, judging was always on the 3rd floor, 5 miles away from, the pits. Now we're going to be on the 2nd floor since we're not using those for pits. Why go to the 3rd floor if we can do it on the 2nd floor? So they're all going to be right there on the 2nd floor. There are 2 elevators that go to the 2nd floor. So that's going to be nice for people who have to use that elevator when they're bringing up, I don't know, their robot or materials or whatever up to that 2nd floor. So just like regionals, just the coaches and the kids in the room, no spectators. Again, consider videotaping, take your phone in and videotape your team so you can share that with your parents. The team presentations for, the robot design and innovation project are 5 minutes. And the time starts when the kids get into the room. So make sure you're practicing that 5 minute thing, because there's been some confusion about that. So it is 5 minutes.
Vicki,
Yes, ma'am.
can you touch on the the carts in the performance gym
Oh.
again, please?
Okay. Okay. The carts in the performance gym, the kids can roll them in there. We want them to keep those on the paper. So I believe though what Jeannie is talking about, the kids are able to roll the carts to the table, unload everything into the home area. I think that's what you were getting to, Jeannie. And then we're going to have them park the carts in a specific space. So when the kids get there, like when they do their practice round, the refs are gonna and the check-in people are gonna work with the kids on where they need to park all their stuff, if they have a cart. But they're gonna then, once they unload everything they're using, then we're gonna ask them to move their cart sort of out of the way. We're gonna have pipe and drape, and it's gonna be against one of the pipe and drapes. Does that answer your question, Jeannie? Does that make it more clear? All right. Okay, I'm sorry, back to judging. So just like regionals. I mean, it is the same format where you're going to have your design and programming with a core values judge in there. Bring your robot, a way to show your programs. Same thing with your project. Bring all your project stuff, your prototype, your drawing, your solution, whatever, props, costumes, and there'll also be a core values judge in there with the project judge, just like there was in regionals. And then, so robot performance, when you go to the robot tables, when there's 2 check-ins. There'll be a check-in if you're in Lakes, Woods, Prairie, because the gym is split on 2 sides. And there's another check-in for Marsh River Snow. And we will show the kids where that is in the morning when they go for their practice rounds. Just like in regionals, the robots are autonomous. You can't drive them with a tablet. So make sure your programs are downloaded onto your robot. We are providing all the mission models and mats for those performance tables. Just team members are going to be allowed back there. Don't forget to bring your new little sorting center sheet that's going to be in the envelope I give you when you check in, especially if you do that. Well, I guess you really don't have to bring it if you do this mission. We're going to still be using the tablets. So once the team agrees, it's final, no video replays. Their first round will be a practice round. And then we're going to do the 3 scored matches after that, just like in regular regionals. The highest score is what's used to determine awards. And again, I will always ask you, please don't walk off with our mission models because it just puts us behind. And we don't want to be behind. So. All right, so for advancement, I don't know how many of you know this, but instead of 2 world championships, First is only doing 1 world championship this year, and it's going to be in Houston because they're only doing 1 world champion, 1 world championship event. All the partners, their world allotments went down. So we are allotted 1 person to send to Worlds. That winner will be awarded a Natalie Tiedemann scholarship. It's $500 per team member with a maximum of $3,000 for the team. So if you had 2 team members, it would be $1,000. But if you had, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm sorry, not 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, however many other kids, it's $3,000 is the maximum. And that's something that I would talk to you about if that were to happen. There is also something called the Global Innovation. So this is an award that celebrates your project. I think First, I'm not sure how many years they've been doing this, but they did this because there were some great projects that came out of the innovations, of that innovation project. And so this is an opportunity for teams to take their project and bump it up to the next level and compete with people globally. So what they do is we will be able to nominate 4 teams. Those teams have an application that they have to fill out. First looks through all these applications that they get, and then they choose 20 teams to participate in this showcase. This particular showcase is happening in June in St. Louis at the Union Depot. We find these nominees from our project judges, choose the projects that they think are the most innovative and interesting and well thought out projects. All right, so when you're at the competition, who do you talk to? And I was just impressed with myself that I could find pictures of all of our head judges and head referees. One of them I couldn't find, find one of Alan in red, but we had all these pictures. So these are your 2 head referees that are going to be there. So if you have questions on the floor, have the kids ask the head referee if they could talk to them about whatever their question is. If you have judging questions, we will have 3, we'll have more head judges than this, but these are our head judges that are sort of in charge that day that will be kind of running around. If you can't find any of these people, if you have a different question, find anyone in a purple shirt. Jeannie and I will be, all over the place. There will be 7 of us there from High Tech Kids. And if whoever you find can't answer their question, they certainly know who to talk to. If you have questions before next weekend, please feel free to contact either myself or Jeannie. For us, email is the best, but if you want to talk to us, you certainly are welcome to call our office. If you are interested or you have parents or anyone who is interested in volunteering to do just a general volunteer or help us out with check-in or something like that, there's a sign up genius on the state championship page, or you can contact Barb if you're interested in that. And really, beyond that, the next slide I have is really if anyone has any questions about the robot game. I just put up a slide here of the mat because sometimes it's easier to see what you're talking about. Does anyone have any questions
Yep, Vicky,
Yep.
I have two I would like you to address, and then I
Okay.
will address the robot game ones.
Okay,
Question about the 5 minutes design and 5 minutes for project. Can you go over what that 5 minutes is and that they're 2 separate 5 minutes in each judging group?
yep. And so for each judging you go to, you're gonna have 2 judgings. One is gonna be your project, your innovation project, and the other is gonna be about your robot and your programs. The kids for both of those are able to they get the first 5 minutes to do a presentation. Historically, for project, kids do skits, kids do all kinds of things to talk about their project. For the robot design, and this is new, this was new last year, the kids can take 5 minutes and give a little presentation. It doesn't have to be a skit, but it can be just, they know what they want to talk about. They want to talk about their robot. They know what they're proud of. They know, what the journey of their robot. They might say, you know what, we started with this. And if the kids have if you had an engineering notebook or my kids used to take pictures of the robot and they could just even show the pictures. This is where we started and this is what our robot morphed into. And this is why we made these choices. We tried wheels didn't work. So we tried treads, and the reason treads worked was because whatever, and they can explain their choices. Same thing with your programs. You can explain, talk about which programs you're most proud of, talk about, how your person programming or people programming and your people building, how they work together as a team. How did the programmers and the builders, if they changed a program, how did that affect building? So how did they work on that communication? Or did you have all kinds of, or did everybody do everything? I mean, just how did that work?
All right, and then another one, considering that some of our regionals were remote, the kids prepared presentations. Will a laptop work for the judges for presentations? So generally, we encourage you to have the kids do the presentation in person.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump on that?
Well, so yes, I understand that. Typically, yes, we typically don't encourage PowerPoints. However, I understand that, if that's what the kids have been practicing, it's going to have to be part of your setup. So what I'm saying is the kids are going to have to, you're not allotted extra time. We can't promise that you're going to have power that close to where the judges are, because you're in a classroom and the judges might sort of be in the middle of that room. I think if you're going to put a laptop in front of the judges, I mean, I think that table's going to might be a little far away for that, but I think if that's how you're practicing, I mean, I guess that's okay.
And we will set up the yellow line again, so there will
that's
still be
right.
that line that
Mhm.
we're encouraging the teams to stay back. It's just a kind of a wave for us, but there will be a table. Someone else asked a question. There will be a table for the teams in the robot design session so that they can put their robot and any stuff they have on a table.
Right. So if they have poster board or they're bringing in their, if they have props for their skit or project or whatever, there'll be a table there.
All right, so then we've got a couple more here. Can you go back to the sorting center selection setup sheet? Please.
It's a tongue twister, sorting setter, no, sorting. Hold on, let me find it.
So basically what the rule says is that the teams can pick, it was supposed to be random, and then first issued an update in October saying that, well, guess we're not going to do that. We're going to let you set up any way you want, but you cannot do the same configuration twice. So the blue always has to be on the bottom row, the orange always has to be in the middle, and the green always has to be on top. So that if you look at this little drawing, that's 6 different ways that you can do the configuration. So it's not random, but the kids have to be able to do basically the mission more than one way if they're doing this mission. If you're not doing the mission, don't even worry about this. And then what happens is they will give this card to the referee when they get there for their regular performance rounds, not practice. Practice isn't going to count. So it's for your 3 official runs. You'll give this, the ref will sign it or initial it or put a slash through it or some way of saying this is the configuration that that ref set up. Give the card back to the kids. And then the next time they come up, they can't use that configuration because it's already been used. So they'll have to use a different configuration the second and third times that they come up. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Again, if you don't do the mission, then it doesn't matter. But if you do the mission, just make sure that the kids know they've got to be practicing those different setups. That I've got for the M8 airdrop, can we contact the other team before the tournament if we plan to do the airdrop mission? Oh, if someone could turn, there we go.
Got it.
We cannot share coach information or team information, but you are certainly welcome to find the teams in the pits. The teams are all in the pits in numerical order, so they should be pretty easy to find. So yeah, if you guys want to talk to them and see if they do that mission, that is a great thing. There are a few teams that will not have anyone across the table from them during that mission. So update number 10 addresses how the airdrop sharing adjustment is made. So if you happen to be one of those teams that does not have a person across the table from you, then I suggest you look at that update and see how it works. Julie says, our team put 2 gray cargos in a hinge on the platooning truck, move it in a circle. You can only do 2 max for the platooning, but all 3 cargo will count. So yes, the app you're using is not right because you could stack, if you wanted, that'd be crazy, all 8 of the cargos on top of each other, on top of that platooning and put it out there. You're only going to get credit for 2 cargos on the platooning truck, but you will get credit for all 8 of those either in or partially in, which however, you know, if it was kitty wampus. So you would get credit for that. So your app is just not doing the counting right. During regionals, we had to just interact with the helicopter. Does that change in person? Yes. In person, if there is a team across from you, you have to fully release that package. Okay, you can't reach over and grab it unless you happen to be one of those teams that does not have anyone across the table from you. That's where you will have to use update number 10 in order to that. Is it okay for our kids to make a bit more room in the classroom for our presentation? And will there be a table or desk available for demonstrating? So Vicki, you might want to address that if we.
Yep. So there's 2 questions about there. So first I'll just say there will not be projectors available. I believe Washington Tech has those in the ceiling or something, and there's we don't have access to those. So we will not have projectors for people to use. As far as making more room, we are going to be providing a table. We're putting this line down because we'd like to have the kids stay just to get some separations from the volunteers this year. We're going to give you as much space as possible, but we would rather you not move things around. I don't know how much room you need, but there should be, we're going to clear out a pretty large space for the teams to present. So I think it should be sufficient. And to be clear, there are projectors in the school. We are just not going to be using them. So that's a something we'd have to pay for, and that's an additional fee. So
Lynn, if you want this, if anyone wants the sorting sheet, you can email me and I'll send it to you. We will be providing that. That will be in your envelope when you check in. Basically, it's just, like I said, it's just kind of a configuration, but if anyone wants it, let me know, send me an email. Shelley, yes, if the team collects the cargo and interrupts a robot when they're coming back into home, yes, they will lose those cargo pieces. That is an interruption. I know there's an official rule and I could point it out, but if they have to touch that robot, basically if they leave home with something and they touch the robot, they get it back. If they did not leave home with that item and they picked it up somewhere and they're bringing it back, they lose it, as well as a precision token. Maylene, yes, if oh, she direct messaged me. We will work on that. That makes sense. I'll talk to you about that. Maylene's in both waves. And someone needs a classroom chair for a skit. I would actually bring a folding chair, because a lot of times the chairs available are the chairs that are connected to the desks, and that may not work for you. So I would encourage you to probably, if it's super important, I would probably encourage you, because some rooms have chairs and some have chairs attached to desks, and
some have stools. It just depends on what room you end up in. So
yeah. So Jason D says we always bring everything the team needs.
And
just
that is a good, yes. And yes, the slides, this presentation I'm recording, I'll put the slides on the website tomorrow, along with the Q&A for people. Let's see.
And will these slides be available on your website?
Yep. Yes, they will. I'll put them right on the state championship webpage.
And this lovely recording will be up there.
That's right. It will be.
So do you want to address showing the judges your programming code?
Well, let's see. There was a question about showing the judges your programming code. That was not done at regionals. Will it be the same at state? I didn't see the question about the programming code. Did you see that, Jeannie?
It was earlier. So basically, what my take on this is, in your 5-minute presentation in robot design, show them what you want them to know. So if you want them to see programming, show them some programming. If you have something cool, the way your robot works, please show them that. If that 5 minutes is really the opportunity for the kids to kind of drive the judges. So it's giving the judges the information that the kids want them to know. Not all judges are crazy about programming. So we took technically the programming judge out of judging this year. And so your robot design person is doing both programming and robot design. So anything you want your kids want them to know, it is up to the kids to drive that. And they can do it during the question and answer, but that 5 minute is their best point. Food package start. Oh no.
Hold on here. Oops, where'd it go? The food package starts connected to the helicopter unless you don't have a team on your other side. I believe that's what the question is.
Yep, that's the update. So it's always going to start it's actually always going to start on the helicopter. It will be the kids' responsibility to say, there's no one across from us. Can we have that package? Our referees are going to try to address that, but again, it's, sometimes that's because it's a little bit different when you don't have a robot across from you.
And what I didn't mention when I talked about going on the for your robot matches, and I just want to reiterate this: when the kids come to the table, have them. Our referees do a really good job at trying to reset everything. They are human; they are not perfect. The kids know which missions they do. Have them look at the table and say, "Oh, this mission isn't set right. Do you mind resetting that mission or checking to make sure something is stuck down? That is perfectly okay for the kids to do. We don't want the kids going out and readjusting stuff out on the field, but if they bring it to the attention of the referee will absolutely fix or check whatever it is they're asking.
The other thing, I'm just gonna put this out there again. People are asking a lot about how do we share our code. Keep in mind, the judges are truly looking at the progress. Where did the kids come from? What did they learn this year? What worked, what failed? It's not so much about look at this cool line follow we have. It's more about this is how we got to the line follow. We learned that we really should use it because this wasn't working. We developed it, we improved it, we tried this and that didn't work. And so we found that putting our sensor in a different place. The judges want to hear about that journey the kids have taken, more so than this is how we coded our robot.
And that's reflective in the new rubrics that were new last year. So
yeah. So Jenna says, and to show code, they have done screenshots. And let me see. Do we have to announce in the intro of design that we have a presentation since it was an issue for us at regionals? You do not. It's not a bad idea to walk in and say we have a presentation because it is new in robot design for teams to have them. We have some, I'm not going to call them old judges that have been around a while who have things that we have changed things on them. First has changed things on them. So if you want to walk in and say, we have a presentation for robot design, that's great. We will talk to our judges. All of the judges who are at state have judged in a previous tournament. So some of those early tournaments, it was a brand new thing and judges were like, wow, what's going on? They were a little surprised, but all of the judges at state have already judged at a regional. So they are expecting that teams still don't have to do a presentation if they don't want to, but it really is encouraged. Like I said, it kind of gives the team the ability to drive the judges where you want them. This is what we want to tell you.
And we will be having a meeting next week with our judges and we will address that and remind them that this is state and probably more teams will have a presentation, or maybe they should ask, do you have a presentation? So. Let's see. Will judges look at the computer with the programming or do we keep it behind the yellow line? A good question. I don't think I'm not sure that they'll be able to see it super clearly. Depends on how far the yellow line is. How do you feel about that, Jeannie?
Like I put in there, a great way to show your code off is to print it out and share it with the judges, especially if you've got something that can, again, show that progression,
Okay.
showing some beginning. Don't expect the judges to be able to go through a big binder or anything. If you've got a couple sheets of paper or you have a display board, I love a trifold board showing things on there. Jenna says she likes to do screenshots and enlarge it because we're getting old eyes.
At least we are.
How many judges will be in each session? So your project, you will have a project and a core values judge. And in the design, you will have a design and a core values judge.
I thought there were going to be 3 in design.
We don't have a programming judge. So let me look. Core
I
values with project, core values with design. No, there's a design. You have 4 judges total.
Okay.
Vicki doesn't believe me, but I'm actually.
I don't, because I'm trying to look it up. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? I know it was fast, but it's going to be very, very similar to your regionals.
No, it's not. It's not as
No,
crazy
it's-
fast as regionals were.
No,
I
it's
promise
not as
that.
crazy fast because you guys will be there it's going to be either the morning or the afternoon.
And Vicki, Doug asks, no callbacks?
Nope, not this year. With the 2 waves, we thought people might be in cars, perhaps going, we've got some teams coming in from a couple hours away.
Yikes, that brought up the questions.
Okay, so here we go.
So we're going to be a little bit honest with you guys here. Minnesota is maybe the only place that does callbacks the way we do it. Most teams, what happens is a judge sees a team and then that judge goes and says, my team is the best. And the other judge says, no, my team is the best. And they kind of talk it out.
They have a deliberation.
They have a
It's
deliberation.
true deliberation.
So we are doing that deliberation. I actually have a meeting starting in 4 minutes with our head judges, where we are going to discuss how we are going to implement that and do that so it's the best and most fair for our teams. We know this is not our favorite way to do it, but this year with waves, there's just no way to, we'd have to have you guys driving back and forth. So the kids do their best in judging. Remember that it is subjective, although Minnesota does some other things to help keep that. And if you are interested in learning more about that, come judge with us. There's your volunteer plug.
And Riley asked, will all awards be an overall and not by judging group? And that's correct, Riley. So the judges in each judging group, well, they will come to that deliberation with their number 1 and maybe number 2 teams in any given category. And so we'll have 6 judging groups. So maybe there will be, and this is how it would work in a regular year anyway. That is who would have been called back, your top 1 or 2 teams in each group. So now what's going to happen is that top 1 or 2 teams in each group, they will do a deliberation about it, and the judges will, talk about, I saw this team and, whatever about their project, and someone else is going to say, I saw this team, whatever about their project, and then they're going to have a discussion about, whichever where they're talking about how that's going to shake out. Someone asked about wild cards. There will be no wild cards because we only have 1 advancement to the World Festival. David asks, will judges be okay with us putting models on the judge table or handing them a packet of photos? Oh, you mean in judging? I think that's fine. That'll be perfectly fine.
I would actually just ask the judge, is it okay if we hand this to you?
Yeah.
I think the judges are there. So
Yeah.
they're spinning a little risk anyway. But they just don't want to be slobbered all over, basically.
So,
Well,
and
if any additional questions come up, feel free to send us an email and we will email back if it's a question that we're not sure of. We will forward it to our head refs. If it's a robot game, if I didn't answer those questions or anything's still unclear. I know it's a little bit different using that sorting card. We just kind of wanted to fall in line with how other places were doing it. Internet.
I have a question. Hello?
Someone has a question about internet or cell reception. Internet, quite honestly, the school Wi-Fi is not amazing. And you have cell reception at the front door. So
and you have cell reception in some places. Yes.
Yeah, it's a little funky. You're inside a big school.
Yeah. All right. Did somebody have a question? They just tried to.
Yeah. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've got a question about the drivers. So 2 drivers. I'm wondering, does it have to be the same 2 for every round,
Nope.
or can they swap out within?
Yep. So you can have, say you have 6 kids on your team, they can be lined up there and they can swap within that 2.5 missions, or you can have 2 different kids every time, however you guys want to do it.
Thank you.
All right, so I have to jump off the call.
All right. Yep, that's good. Yes, Jean has to talk to our our head judges right now. We were double booked tonight. Let's see. Paul Keeney says my team of 6 swaps for each emission, so they all participate in every round. Yep, and there's lots of people who do that. And then and some people you know, they think that's too much chaos and they just do 2 different kids every time. However you guys want to do it, you can have the same 2 kids every time. It doesn't matter. Can you put the slide up with the yellow line info, please? Oh, I don't think that's actually on a slide. But we will have a line just in the judges room. We just didn't want the younger kids tend to inch closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the judges. And so we just put up this line so that if the kids see it, then they don't tend to inch. So we are super excited to have an in-person state. We are very, very hopeful that we won't have to do waves for state next year. We are talking about doing half-day waves for regionals next year. After state is over, I'll be sending everyone a survey. So it'd be great to get your feedback on waves, what the kids learned, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be sending that out like in 2 weeks after state is over. But I don't want to keep you guys if you don't have any other questions. Just let's see. May you go over rules with a truck with cargo blocks in a circle? So you're talking about putting the cargo on the trucks and pushing them out. Or you can push the trucks out to one of the circles. There's 6 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 circles. I guess I'm wondering what exactly your question about the trucks with the cargo blocks in the circle is. You can unmute if you'd like.
Hi, this is
Hi.
Nithya. So if we have cargo in the circle plus up to 2 blocks on the truck, right, in the
Mhm,
circles, that's still allowed.
Yes. And so that
Okay.
you would get points for cargo on the truck. And if you're in the circle, then the cargo in the circle.
So you can get double the points for the same cargo piece because it's on the truck and in the
Yes,
circle.
yes, that's your question. Yes, you
That
can.
was my question.
Yes. Yeah, okay. All right. So we're super excited to see you guys in a week and a half. And I hope the teams are all working hard and they're excited. If there isn't anything else, I will give you guys is it Tuesday night? Your Tuesday night back.
I did ask one question in the chat. It
sorry.
was related to that same, does the whole truck have to fit inside the circle or just for the
No.
full points or just the cargo on the truck?
It's the cargo on the truck.
Wait, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Anyone else? Again, if you think of something, email me or Jeannie.
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay.
If you're not doing the sorting center,
Mhm.
but just grabbing one of the cargo from the sorting center,
Mhm.
do you have to rearrange it every time?
It will be rearranged.
Okay.
So, because you're wondering,
So
oh,
yeah,
I see.
I mean, I guess
see what your
there's,
question is.
there's points for putting one of the colored
Yep.
cargo in a circle, but then there's also points for removing 2 cargo from the sorting center.
Right.
So, the sorting center mission applies separately.
It
And so I'm just
does.
wondering if the rule about rearrangement only applies if you are going for the points to remove
So-
both cargo.
Well, no, if you're gonna touch the sorting center for whatever reason, you're gonna have to use
Yep.
that sheet, that sorting center sheet.
Okay,
Like, that's the easiest way.
gotcha. Okay,
So the doors will open for morning at 8. Wendy asked if it was 7:30 or 8. Now, if you come at 7:45, I will probably be ready, but we'll say 8. We had FTC teams this weekend that showed up at 6:30 and it was very early and I made them wait because those pits didn't open until 7:15. 6:30 was pretty early. They were excited. So please don't come at 6:30. But, all right. Okay, if everybody did everybody get their questions answered? All right,
Hey, Vicky,
yes.
can you just recap that sorting center sheet? I joined a little late and I missed it, but that was actually the one question I had. So
So let me
Yeah, go
find it. So when you check in your envelope that I give you that has medals and some other things in it, you're gonna get this sheet off to the side. If you can see it on my slide.
Yep.
The rule is with the sorting center, you can tell the referees what configuration you want. You just can't use the same configuration twice. Now, this doesn't apply to the practice round. So it's just going to apply for your 3 rounds. And so you're going to bring this sheet of paper. And so if you use the top one, say you use the top one first, the referee is going to somehow mark it. If I was the referee, I'd probably just put my name in that box, Vicky, and just to show that that one had been used. So if you go if Bruce was your next, referee, then he would be like, oh, you can't do that one again. So let's do this other one. So that's what that is. And that's that new rule that says you just can't do the same configuration twice in your 3 rounds.
yeah, and so you're able to pick, and it's just you can't do it the same. And because we're not doing head to head, it's really only 3 of these 6 that you'll get.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And had we, had we done head to head, it would have kind of started over again because it's just really the 3 for those 3 rounds that get scored.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Anyone else?
So just out of curiosity, since we're
Yeah.
not doing head to head,
Yeah.
is the helicopter missions still have to start at home or by the helicopter?
So the package starts in the helicopter, up in the hanging from the helicopter. That's where if you look at I forget what mission that is. Let's see if I don't have my missions in front of me. That's the starting point of that. The only time that would change would be if there's not a team on the other side of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you clarify what you mean by head to head then?
Oh,
didn't-
so in the past, we're not having head to head this year. In the past, we did this head to head. It was kind of for fun. In all honesty, we did head to head to keep the kids busy during callbacks and while the judges were trying to figure out who the winners were. But it was sort of like the Sweet 16 where it was single elimination, where teams would play each other just across the table. And if you got a higher score, even if your score was only 25 points and they scored 20 points, then you moved on to the next round. We very much hope to bring that back next year because we very much hope that we won't be in this issue that we're in this year still. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. All right. Let's
See you in
see.
2 weeks. We're excited.
All right. We are excited too.
okay, so one final clarification, sorry, on
Sure.
the helicopter.
No, it's fine.
So for regional, we started with the package in home.
Mhm.
So that is not happening for the state tournament.
You should have only started with the package at home if there was not a team on the other side of you. Were you in the remote event?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's why you didn't have a team on the other side. Correct. So you
Okay.
will, if you have a team on the other side, it starts up, you know how it hangs?
Right.
It hangs.
Yep.
So And so then it
Okay.
would be the other team would go over there, hit that lever, drop the package into your area, and then you could use the package. That's how that
Okay,
mission
when you
works.
say
So
you
I would go back and actually read that mission. Because you were in the road mode event, you're right. It's not going to start in a place where you
Okay.
have immediate access to it. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then does the robot have to capture it, or does the
No,
person?
so if
carry
it,
back?
if the team on the other side goes all the way over there, releases
Yeah.
that package, it falls within your area that you can touch it. So then you can pick it up and deliver it. But they have to release it.
Okay.
That's
And then
that's
when you
the
say
shared
pick it up,
mission.
it's pick up by hand.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, just like that
Okay.
blue, that blue cargo thing. Once you get it in base, you fill it by hand.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yes. Yep. All right. All right. I think we've answered everyone's questions. I'm willing to stay on if anybody has any more questions. No? All right. Well, good luck to everyone. We're really looking forward to seeing you in a week and a half. So have a great evening.
Vicky, I have something, but it's not tournament related. Do you have a
Okay.
minute?
Yep, we can hold on here.
Yeah, it's just